welcome to Dolce Bella Crochet Designs. I'm Deb, and today I would like to take you on a quick tour of my finished crochet and yarn room. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button and then bell notification so that you get notified when I post something new. A couple of weeks ago, I had posted a video of me organizing and setting up my crochet room, and today I'd like to give you a walkthrough of the room. I like the fact that it has the double doors on it, so it opens up and I don't feel like I'm isolated. Now let's go inside. Upon entering the room, you see that I have one wall straight across from the doors lined with cubbies to store my yarn. Let's talk about how I organized my yarn. Okay, so my cubbies I actually bought from two different places. I have linked those places in the description down below. But as you can see, the cubbies that are on the bottom are deeper and a little bit wider. And so overall, they're just bigger than the ones that are on top. So when I was organizing and arranging the room, I had to get creative to make them fit. So in the process, I was able to create an open area. In the open area, I have displayed my most recent pattern called the Unity Shawl. I created the Unity Shawl as a giveaway for my 500 subscriber mark. So if you have not yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and be entered into the drawing for the free pattern and the yarn to make the shawl. All right, now we're going to talk about how I've organized my yarn. In this, I have first of all put all my cotton yarn up at the top. I do not generally use a lot of cotton yarn, so I don't have a lot of yarn, and it went up there. I had just one small cubby to put it in, so I put it up there. Now moving on, if we start over on this side, where the narrower cubbies are, I have my weight 3 or my sport weight yarn, and it's in all of these cubbies. I use this yarn for baby blankets, baby hats, some shawls, you know, some of the smaller things that you would need lighter weight yarn for. And once it's in there, it's also divided or organized by brand or color. So for example, these are all the same brand, and you can see I've got the red and then the white and then the blue. My goal when I bought this was to make a particular pattern out of it. I haven't gotten that far, so but it's there together because it's all the same brand. These right here, in here, most of these are the same brand of yarn and the same weight of yarn. On the bottom, my bigger cubbies, I'm starting over here. I have my number 4 weight, which is a worsted weight yarn, and it goes all the way across the bottom over to about here. Okay, so this is all my number 4 weight worsted weight yarn. I use a lot of this yarn for blankets, hats, scarves, some shawls. It's just kind of a general nice weight of yarn to use, so I use a lot of that. Then moving on to behind the chair, everything from the top all the way down from here on over is my bulky yarn. So that would be my weight 4s or weight 5s and 6s. I use a lot of this for blankets and hats and headbands. There are some heavier weight yarns that have special textures to them that I will use for special projects. So that is how I've organized it. Again, it's all organized by weight and then by color and brand. All right, so what I've done is I've used some of my finished projects, some of the patterns that I have created to display in the room to give it a little more inviting feel. All right, so up here, this blanket right here, this is called Moonlight or Seashore by Moonlight, and it uses a wonderful stitch called the crystal wave stitch, which has a lot of texture. That pattern, as well as that particular blanket, can be found on my Etsy shop. And then moving over right here, this is a blanket that I am working on. It's a throw for me. I wanted to do it for me. It's called the Peony Throw, and The original pattern actually had it all one color, and I took the row repeat and used it to make different colors of yarn. So that is made specifically for this room. On this side, on the top, I have another blanket pattern that I created. It is called the Sugarplum Princess pattern. And this pattern, the name for the pattern actually came from the names of the yarn. The lighter color is called Ballet Slipper, and the darker color is called Sugarplum. And so when I put the two together, it reminded me of the movie The Nutcracker, or the ballet The Nutcracker, and that hence where the Sugarplum Princess pattern name came from. This pattern can also be found on my Etsy shop, as well as the actual blanket itself. So be sure to check out my Etsy shop as well. Then down over here on the blanket ladder, I have displayed a handful of my other blankets. These are all baby blankets. The top one is one of the very first patterns that I created, and it's called Denim and Lace, because it's got the lacy look on it, and this looks like denim. It also has a matching baby hat. This pattern, it doesn't necessarily have a name, but it is a waffle stitch blanket, and it's just very thick and comfortable. It's soft. The one down below is the same stitch as the Sugarplum Princess, but I used two different shades of blue. And this one down here is Fields of Clover is the name of it, and I used that as a stash buster. So I used up some yarn that I had, and it's made with the shell stitch. All of these blankets can be found on my Etsy shop, as well as the patterns. Here is my open drawer cabinet that I have. I found this at Hobby Lobby. I fell in love with it, and I use this strictly for my whips. Whips being work in progress. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? And so in each one of these drawers is one of my whips, or one of my future projects. For example, this first one right here, it's got some yarn in it for my niece. She has a sister-in-law who's going to have a baby, and she asked me to make her a blanket. So we picked out the yarn, and it's in there. So I have got to get started on that. She's having that baby in February, so that will be one of my top projects. Then I have in here another one of my whips that I've been working on. It's just a pink baby Afghan. This is a stash buster. Oh no, it lost it. It's a stash buster. I just need to put a border around it. So that is what's in that one. And then in the drawer beside that, it's the same kind of yarn. It's another one that I'm making. It starts out with a mesh base. Golly, I'm all twisted up. And then I will crochet the top crochet on top of it. So this is called Sugar and Spice. I've had that pattern for a very long time. Here's another one of my, it's just using a Bernay blanket, and it's barely started. It's one of those that I may actually frog out, meaning take out and start all over. This one here is another baby blanket that I'm working on. That is one of my fortes, is baby blankets. This is a very intricate pattern, and I found the pattern, interesting story on this one. I found the pattern on YouTube, and it's in a foreign language. And so I was able to watch it and write down in English what she was doing. And so I need to get back at that one. In here is yarn for a shawl that I need to finish up. It probably wouldn't take me but a couple of hours to do it. In this drawer here is the yarn for a future project. Again, it's another one that I need to get going on. It's for a special person. And then I have another future project here, and these are just kind of odds and ends projects that I'm working on, little projects like some coasters. So, but this is supposed to be my whip cabinet, so my current projects that I'm working on. Aside from all the yarn that I have on my wall, I have it kind of stashed in a few other places. I have a basket down here. I absolutely love this basket. It was a thrift find, believe it or not. open it up, and I have my balls of yarn where it's just like the leftover parts of the skein that I've wound into a ball, and then those are good for small projects, or eventually you can put them together to make a larger project. Beside my chair, I also have a basket of some yarn. This is the yarn that I made that blanket out of, so it kind of just sits in there as storage. Eventually I'll use it for something else, as well as some other kinds of yarn. My baskets that are up on the top, on the shelf, also have yarn stored in them. Those are basically baby yarns or the sport weight yarns, so they'll be used in baby blankets. On top of my whip cabinet, I have some crochet hooks that I just put in these little vases that I found these at the dollar store for $1 a piece, and they happen to be the perfect colors. So I've got some crochet hooks in here. I've got some knitting needles in here. I'm trying to learn to knit. That's one of my goals for 2024. And then on the little tray, I have some, they're called hair sticks, and I use them to display and hold shawls together. So I have those just kind of laying right there. And then over here on my tins, I have wooden crochet hooks, my one set of wooden crochet hooks that I bought. And then this little tin is for all my scrappy yarns. I have a friend who makes amigurumi, and she uses scrap yarn like that for stuffing instead of buying it. In the front, I have attached to my cabinet my yarn winder and my umbrella swift that opens up, so when I buy a hank of yarn, I can wind it. Or sometimes even a skein of yarn is too loose or has come apart and I need to recake it. So I have those permanently attached. They're not permanently, I can take them off, but I don't take them up and down so that they're there. My new yarn ball that I got for Christmas, I was so excited. And I have my whiteboards and stuff on the top that keep me organized somewhat, or I try to keep myself organized using those. And then over behind this door, I have bought a over the door hook to hang my project bags. So like when I travel, I can put them in the bag and I have everything with me, but then they're here out of the way, so when I open the door, you don't see them. Behind my door, I have a storage cabinet, and this storage cabinet holds kind of all my necessary equipment. I have my blocking boards right here on the top shelf. Then on the next shelf, as you can see, I have crochet books and patterns. I have a set of drawers here that has odds and end pieces of tools, like an extra measuring tape. I have pens and pencils in another drawer, and then the final drawer has some new knitting needles that have the rope on them. I also have little containers of tapestry needles, and these are pom-pom makers. In these drawers, I have my stitch samples, so when I learn a new stitch, I make a little sample of it or a swatch of it, and then I label it and I put it in these drawers. Down below, I have some more journals that I use for taking notes, or if I have a pattern that I'm thinking about. I have my pencils. This little container here has pre-made pom-poms that I can put on hats. I have my knitting loom pieces, so those are stored in there. And then the bottom shelf is all photo props. So those are things that I use when I'm taking pictures of products or videos. I use these props. So that's my storage cabinet. Then on the top, I have another blanket in a basket, and there's yarn in this basket as well. So as you can tell, I used 80 extra baskets and containers I had to store my yarn. This pattern right here, this is something that I made when I first started crocheting. If you haven't figured out, purple is my favorite color, and I made this for my bedroom. It is probably about 25 or 30 years old. So it's been washed, it's been used, and it's to the point where I want to preserve it. So I've taken it out of my bedroom and brought it down here as a display piece. And this is another container that also has, guess what? Yarn. So, and then down beside it, behind the door, I also have another basket of yarn. A lot of this is the heavier weight cotton that I bought, clearanced out, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So that is my little yarn. Thank you so much for joining me here today on the tour of my crochet and yarn room. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and make a comment down below. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, happy crocheting.